And by the way, this mass media studies babe, I saw the video of this last night. This is hilarious. You've got this Asian American photographer. I wouldn't even notice Asian American, except I've been sensitized to it now by the left. You got this Asian American photographer, and he's trying to take pictures. A still photographer trying to take pictures. Got a nice Nikon or Pentax, it looks like. He's trying to take still pictures of the protesters. And there's a bunch of people saying, no, you can't come here. You can't come here. You don't have the right. And this guy, what do you mean the right? You ever heard of the First Amendment? I'm a journalist here. I'm covering what you... We don't want you here. We don't want you here. Little children, the students, we don't want... Finally, they grabbed this babe from this mass media professor, and she panicked. You can't come in here. You can't be here. You can't... And she ran off looking for help. She wanted some muscle to come over and kick this nice, harmless Asian-American child photographer out of the surroundings, which is another thing. You know, the left is scratching their heads over this because they think that the protesters ought to look at the media as friendly, but yet the protesters were looking at the media as the enemy, or enema, as it were, given the feces swastika. So nothing played to type here. Anyway, that babe has been fired. The mass media studies, and we read you her bio yesterday, and it's embarrassing that this woman would even be hired by a kindergarten. And here she is. By the way, this is where failed J school applicants go. Mass media studies. All right, I'm told now that Melissa Click, the mass media studies professor, was not fired, that she resigned from the job. It's actually a courtesy appointment, they call it. She resigned, said she got a lot of death threats. She's keeping her real job, her paying job, whatever that is. But she says she was getting a lot of death threats. Of course she's getting death threats. Don't you know that's what happens? You stand up for decency and justice, and of course here come these rabid Republicans with death threats. Of course that's what happens. It's another hoax, another pack of BS. And she says she's worried about the safety of her family. Well, I would be too, if I was depending on her. Sorry, folks. This is how the New York Times reported her symbolic resignation. Quote, University of Missouri professor who confronted photographer quits journalism post. She wanted to keep the media away from the protesters. And the media, can you imagine how confused they were? Hey, we're your buddies in this. You're protesting against the university. We're trying to get rid of them too. We're on the same side of the aisle here. What do you mean you won't let us in? She wouldn't let them in. From the Columbia, Missouri, and the local RAG, courtesy appointment allows members of one academic unit to serve on graduate committees for students from other academic units. Click teaches mass media in the communications department. The School of Journalism is a separate entity. That's right, because she couldn't get in there. It's exactly, if you go to mass communications, it means you didn't get into the J school.